Hey friends, it's January. It's the start of a new year, and that means I'm here with my Azure Standard haul for the month of January. Now, as we're past Christmas, past all the holidays, it's the start of a new year. This is a little bit of a stock up haul today. So, we've got quite a bit of really exciting stuff. As usual, it's a mix of tried and true products and new products. So, let's dive right in. First of all, I am restocking my potatoes. I got another 50-pound box of the organic yellow potatoes. So these seem to be good quality, good medium size. This is a pretty usable size for me. We really enjoyed the other box of potatoes, and we are just about done with those, so this is perfect timing to get a new box of potatoes. So Azure Standard doesn't do sales the way you think of normal sales. Like, for Black Friday, most companies will do a big % off sale. Azure doesn't do sales that way, but what they did do this year, which in my experience, at least it was the first time they've done this that I know of, they did a bunch of little mini sales where with Azure you place an order. In my area, it's once a month. I think some areas that are probably closer to where their base is located have pickup drops more often, but here where I am on the East Coast, it's once a month. And so what I was able to do was place an order once, and then as I added items to the order, as they went on sale, and then I was able to check out once and get the sale price for all these items. So potatoes were one of the items that went on sale. So I really do enjoy their potatoes, and since we were just about out of the last 50-pound box of potatoes that we got a few months ago, I figured it was time to restock those. Another restock is this scratch and peck Grubs. These are for my chickens, and my chickens love these. So I got the large box that came with 3 of these bags in it. So you can see there's a couple more bags in there. These are freeze-dried Grubs, so they're good for a really long time. So my chickens are not picky eaters. They love treats, and they love all kinds of treats. But I think if I had to pick a favorite, it would probably be these Grubs. So these are black soldier fly larvae, which is a little more nutritious for chickens than the mealworms that you often see. These, I believe, are higher in calcium and protein than mealworms, so they're really great for chickens, and my chickens love them. So I give them these occasionally just as a treat, but really what I use these for most is when my chickens have been free-ranging and it's time for them to go back into the coop. I will lure them to the coop with a couple handfuls of these, and they love it. Another restock is this Rumiano's butter. I like to get the organic unsalted butter from Rumiano. I get the largest pack that they have available, which is a pack of 12 blocks of butter. Oh, try not to drop that on the ground. This is by far my favorite butter. So I like to buy the largest pack of the butter, as I mentioned, because Azure offers bulk discounts. They offer, I think you can get this butter in an individual block like this, and I want to say maybe a 3-pack and then the 12-pack, which is what I got. But per unit, the price goes down with each size you go up. So I like to stock up on this. This will last for a few months. I actually usually will freeze most of them because I find that they freeze beautifully. I'll just keep a couple of them in my fridge, and as we use them up, we'll replenish with a couple more blocks of these from the freezer, and I find that they last really well that way. So next I'm restocking a couple other dairy products. You can see that here I have the Nancy's Probiotic Sour Cream, and then underneath that I also got the Nancy's Probiotic Cream Cheese. We really enjoy both of these products. I find that they taste great, they're good quality. One bonus that I find with both of these, I think probably because they're probiotic, is they both last quite a while. So in my experience, both of these products have lasted significantly longer than the best by date on the package. So even though I won't necessarily go through 6 packages of cream cheese in a month, I find that I have consistently been able to get through all of them before they go bad, even if it's a little bit past the best by date on the container. Now, obviously, that's personal experience, and it's what you're comfortable with. If you're not comfortable using products by the best by date, then that is completely your choice. It's just been my experience that I think because of the probiotic cultures in these, both the sour cream and the cream cheese have lasted really well for me. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get all of these back in the fridge, and then we'll talk about everything else that's here. So I'm also restocking quite a few pantry items this month. There were a lot of things that we were out of or running low on, and as I said, also some things that I wanted to try for the first time. So I'm restocking baking powder. I like purchasing baking powder that is aluminum free. And we were just about, I think actually I used up my baking powder from Azure just the other day. So we are due for some new baking powder. So I will add that to the pantry restock. Next, I am trying some lasagna noodles. So I was reading the description of these lasagna noodles on the Azure website, and it says that, here on the package, it says that you can boil them, but on the website, it said that you can add them to a lasagna, basically like no boil noodles, which if you make lasagna, boiling noodles doesn't seem like a big deal, and honestly, it really isn't a big deal, but when you're in a little bit of a time crunch, lasagna has a lot of steps to it, and being able to skip one of those steps is a big deal. So the website said that you could use these as no boil noodles, so I plan to give that a try, and I'll report back. If they work well and we like them, then I'm sure I will be restocking them for a future Azure order, because I do really like as many products as possible to be organic, but one thing that I prioritize is products that are made with wheat. So these lasagna noodles, pasta, everything like that, we try to buy organic when possible. And I find that the local selection of things like that is fairly limited. So that's where having a company like Azure Standard works really well for me, because I can get a lot of those products that wouldn't be available to me otherwise. So I'm going to give these lasagna noodles a try, and I will let you know how I like them. Next, I'm also trying out these white sesame seeds. Now, this was actually a great price for sesame seeds because this is a lot of them. It's going to take me quite a while to go through a pound of sesame seeds. I don't use them really often, at least not really often, in really large amounts. This was another product that was on the rotating sale that they had, so I decided to give them a try because it was a great price. And I do use sesame seeds occasionally, so I may have to use them a little more frequently now that I have a whole pound of them. But I'll let you know how I like these as well. Next, I'm restocking my balsamic vinegar. I have purchased this specific balsamic vinegar from Azure once before, and we really enjoyed it. This is definitely a really high quality balsamic. There are quite a few dishes I make that I like to top with a balsamic glaze. Now, finding a balsamic glaze at the store that doesn't have additives in it can be pretty challenging. A lot of times they'll add sugar or thickeners. And even if it's organic, I prefer it to just be thickened balsamic vinegar. So what I end up doing a lot of times is making my own balsamic glaze. I'll just take balsamic vinegar and simmer it on the stove to reduce it. But that can be kind of time consuming, and it can be a little bit annoying sometimes just to have to take that extra step. And then if I need it immediately and don't have it, it just delays whatever I'm cooking. Now, this is a balsamic vinegar, not a balsamic glaze, but it is so thick and syrupy that it works as a glaze just as it is. No thickening required. So for that reason, I really like this. I like to use this basically as a finishing vinegar, so we really enjoy that. Next, I'm restocking popcorn. Azure offers quite a few different kinds of popcorn. We really like the mushroom popcorn. I like that it gives the big fluffy kernels when it pops, and we just really like that texture. I was running low on this. We eat quite a bit of popcorn for a snack, so I wanted to restock that. Next, I'm also restocking this arrowroot powder. This is a great thickener. It works similarly to cornstarch. I find that cornstarch, usually, unless you can find a good quality organic source for it, is usually GMO, and I prefer to avoid that as much as possible. So arrowroot powder is a really good alternative, and we like to use that. I basically just use it as a cornstarch replacement. I use it for thickeners. I also use it if I make my own powdered sugar. Traditionally, you mix a little bit of cornstarch with that to keep it from clumping and caking, so you can also use arrowroot powder in that place instead. It's also really good for making body products. If you make body butters or something like that, sometimes they can feel a little bit greasy and don't necessarily want to absorb into your skin as well. Arrowroot powder helps with both of those things. So whenever I make homemade body butter, I do like to add a little bit of arrowroot powder to the butter. Next, I have a couple bath and hygiene products. This one is a restock. We really like this crystal deodorant. I find that it works really well without, any of the toxic ingredients that are kind of hard to avoid in deodorant sometimes. So I've really enjoyed that one, so that's a restock. These are new to me. I wanted to give this shampoo and conditioner set a try. This is the Desert Essence coconut variety. So in my family, we are really good about eating mostly clean ingredients or mostly clean foods made with clean ingredients. We avoid processed foods. But I will say the same is not always true of all my Bath and Body products. Sometimes I do still use, the regular shampoo that I can get at my local Walmart. And I wanted to give this a try because it's free of a lot of the ingredients that I prefer to avoid that are in most mainstream shampoos. I've never tried this brand before, but I have heard good things about it, so I wanted to give it a try. So I got the coconut, both the shampoo and the conditioner. If I like these, then I'm sure I'll be restocking them in the future, and I will let you know. If you have any experience with this brand or the shampoo and conditioner, I would love to hear your experience. Next, I'm restocking a little bit of frozen fruit. I got the organic frozen strawberries and the wild frozen blueberries. I do really enjoy the wild blueberries. I also like that wild blueberries, this can be a positive or a negative depending on what you're looking for. Wild blueberries tend to be a little bit smaller than cultivated blueberries. So if you are snacking on them, sometimes you may prefer the larger ones. But if you're baking with them, sometimes it's nicer to have slightly smaller blueberries. So I really do enjoy the wild blueberries. So I'm just restocking both of those fruits. Next, here's another product that I'm trying for the first time. This is organic panko. Now, I know you can make your own breadcrumbs, and I sometimes do that, but one thing I need to look into is how to make my own panko breadcrumbs. Because when I use breadcrumbs, panko is my preferred type to use. You can see that it's a little bit larger and airier than the classic, just really fine breadcrumbs. I really like panko. So locally, I can't find any organic panko, so I wanted to give these a try. If you know anything about making your own panko breadcrumbs from scratch, I would love to hear about that because that's something that is on my list of things to look into, but I haven't really looked into it yet. Finally, this month, I am restocking onions. I got the 10-pound bag of organic yellow onions. These onions always come looking really good and fresh. You can see they're pretty large onions. Often I won't use a whole onion for a meal. I'll usually chop up the whole onion, and then I may end up freezing half of it chopped, which can be a really nice convenience item because then the next time I need just a little bit of chopped onion, I can take the chopped onion out of the freezer and just throw it right in whatever I'm cooking. So that can be, as I said, a positive or a negative regarding the size of the onions. If you really prefer smaller onions, then you may want to find another source because I do find that the Azure onions tend to be large. As I said, it's not a problem for me. Even if I need a smaller amount of onion, then I just get a convenience item for my freezer, and that works really well. So this is my stock up haul from Azure Standard for the month of January. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in my kitchen and just hanging out as we talked about this haul that I got this month. I'm really excited to try out some of these new products. I'm also really excited to have some of my favorite products restocked. If you are new to Azure, it can be a little bit of a different experience than shopping at, a regular grocery store. So it can definitely be different, but I find that it is definitely worth it. So if you are new to Azure, but you're interested in giving them a try, I'm going to leave my referral link in the video description. If you do choose to sign up through that link, thank you so much. That is a great way to support my little channel at no additional cost to you. So I really do appreciate when you choose to do that. So I would love to hear your thoughts on any of these products. Any other products that you could recommend from Azure would be welcome as well. I hope you're having a great day, and I can't wait to see you soon. I'll see you next time.